A campus radio station could soon go off the air. University of Waterloo's 100.3 Sound FM is fighting to stay alive. CTV's Nicole Lampa has this for us tonight. Nicole, why is the station struggling?
Bottom line, Janine, money. It barely has enough cash right now to keep going, but that could change depending on a student referendum.
And that was brand new stuff from Tegan and Sarah right here on 100.3 Sound FM.
At 100.3 Sound FM, the volume of cash has dwindled.
It's a pretty dire situation. We've been running for the last 20 months or so on no significant amount of funding coming into the station, so a lot of it's been on savings.
With the threat of signing off permanently, the situation could spin in another direction, depending on this week's student referendum to fund the station.
Sound FM is also known as CKMS. A similar vote happened 2 years ago, but back then students voted to defund the station, so the station lost 90% of its budget.
Sound FM was defunded 2 years ago as a result of students feeling there was a level of mismanagement and unaccountability.
The Federation of Students has agreed to keep a close eye on the campus station. Up until 2 years ago, students paid $5.50 a term to CKMS. If students vote yes, they would pay a refundable $2.50 per term.
We will have more oversight in terms of being made aware on a regular basis about exactly where the funding is going.
A single-person committee against the funding says Sound FM doesn't have enough membership and that internet radio is a better choice. The students we spoke with disagree.
Campus radio provides a station where you can hear to independent bands, you can hear independent artists.
I think it's quite important. Like when I was a student here, there's usually, I always wanted to find different resources to plug in, find out what kind of current events are on school.
Now, Sound FM has been around for quite some time. They boast to have started the third campus radio station in North America. The referendum polls closed Wednesday afternoon, and the verdict will be announced tomorrow at noon at the Student Life Center. Janine?
CTV's Nicole Lampa reporting tonight.
Good evening and welcome to Province-Wide. I'm Diane Verneil. There are a lot of businesses that are happy to see university students move back to town when classes start. Tens of thousands of young people bring a lot of money. But in some neighborhoods, they also bring problems. Windsor, London, Hamilton, Kingston, and Waterloo know all about this. Late-night rowdiness and vandalism aren't the only problems, say one group of permanent residents. They wonder if there's an actual plan to devalue their properties.
Deborah Eason's parents built this home in 1959. She bought it from them 6 years ago. But this residential neighborhood, just a couple of blocks from both of Waterloo's universities, has undergone a few changes.
There's your house here. You're surrounded by students.
Yeah.
The red and pink on this neighborhood map shows all the student housing. The green is what's left of owner-occupied homes.
On this block alone, there are 24 houses. 9 of them are licensed or duplexed. And since 2004, 50% of the homes that were owner-occupied have converted and are now not owner-occupied houses.
Deborah says her neighborhood is now a student ghetto. Most families have packed up and moved out, while students have moved in. With 35,000 of them pouring into the city every fall, that steady, unending supply of renters means a money-making slam dunk for landlords. But some students aren't exactly ideal neighbors.
The noise is non-stop. Students actually described this as their party zone and told us we didn't belong here anymore.
In the fall, when students are flush with cash, and in the spring, when classes end, is when you'll find young people celebrating. These student leaders are discouraged by some of the stories.
It's definitely unfortunate. We pride ourselves on very intelligent and creative students, and when a negative story like this one might come to light, it's important to recognize that this is only a small demographic of students that is causing these concerns in the neighborhoods.
It's disheartening at times, but I will say that we just had a very successful orientation week where we had 6,000 plus students who celebrated in very responsible ways. So it is unfortunate that one or two may get a little bit out of control at times.
This video that Deborah taped shows definitely more than just one or two rowdy students. Admittedly, a bit shaky, she shot this keg party last March that started at 8 in the morning. One reveler is holding up a sign to passing cars that says, "You honk and we drink."
And you can see the girl in the nurse's costume actually pulls her top down right there.
Deborah says this went on for hours before the police came.
So we really try to crack down on those type of parties.
Staff Sergeant Mark Bullock says Waterloo Region Police have launched Project Safe Semester for the 3rd year.
The officers are going out and shutting the parties down before they become loud enough or disruptive enough to bother the whole neighborhood.
And the universities have initiated their own plan for better behavior.
Students and community officials knock on doors in the neighborhoods to introduce themselves to students, to let them know some of the rules, and also to introduce themselves and to permanent residents and to strike up a conversation with them as well.
Some of the new rules, Bullock says, police now patrol student neighborhoods with zero tolerance. They're not bothering with warnings. Drunkenness and public urination will get you a fine.
So we don't wait for calls for service to come in. Our officers are actually going out in the community and finding those problems and eradicating them before they actually become citizen complaints.
He says the student disturbances are down since going to a strict enforcement policy. It's a much different approach compared to the city of Kingston, where this residential road is shut down every year for Queen's University's homecoming. This student video shows police presence to discourage violence, which has erupted in the past. Back in Waterloo,
and everywhere from here down to University Avenue are all student rentals now.
Christine Carmody is fed up with her student neighbors. After living here for 12 years, she says she doesn't see much evidence of reduced rowdiness.
What do they do? They party, they wake me up in the middle of the night, they urinate in front of us, they throw up in front of us.
Besides the bad behavior, she has another beef.
Personally, I think that they are actively trying to devalue our properties.
By they, Christine means the city of Waterloo, and the case for devaluing properties is complex. In 2004, a plan was ushered in to create balance between permanent and student housing. These new big-box student apartments were supposed to ease the pressure. While existing rentals were grandfathered, anyone wanting to rent a home in the future would be limited to just a few students. Christine says that's not fair.
But meanwhile, my neighbor has 15 students. The one next to it has 13 students. Across the street, there are 12. Why are those houses allowed to have 12, 13, and 15? And mine can only have 3, maybe 4, at best case scenario 5.
Her neighbor Deborah says you'd think these houses would be worth a lot more.
It's close to Uptown, close to Waterloo Park, close to jobs, thousands and thousands of tech jobs 2 blocks away. You're no more than 1 block in either direction from major public transit. The light rapid transit line is going through.
Deborah says the only people buying now are potential landlords. And since they can only put a few students in each house, which won't earn the cash a more densely packed grandfathered rental would get, the values have dropped.
A 1,700 square foot house on 1/3 of an acre, 2 blocks from thousands of tech jobs in the university with a swimming